I know that I present someone who is very bubbly and happy all the time, and a lot of the time I am because I have really good tools. But the truth is that under that quirky and bubbly personality is someone who struggles to wake up every morning and choose happiness. The actress has been battling with depression since her teenage years, and the pandemic has only brought about an even darker cloud of sadness.
I have to know how my brain works in order to catch it from doing bad things, because the brain is really tricky.
The quarantine period not only threatened her health, but her marriage too, sending her into isolation while her husband relapsed into substance abuse.
If you can exit quarantine alive and married, my hat's off to everyone. So,
Yeah.
But before we get started, subscribe to the channel and click the notification button if you want to stay updated with the hottest celebrity news. Back in 2017, Bell had Adam Scott quivering with all sorts of emotions when she surprised him with a visit from Mark Hamill. When Scott was younger, he had written a letter to his Star Wars hero inviting him to his birthday, and it sadly didn't turn out the way he had wished. So while filling in for Jimmy Kimmel as guest host, the actress gave Hamil a chance to make it up to her dear friend by bringing him out in the middle of her interview. Scott was beyond overwhelmed as he sat there startled in his seat, but the joy in his eyes was evident. "This really is one of the best moments of my life," he shared. And knowing she had brought her friend that happiness left Bell just as thrilled. It hasn't always been easy for Kristen to show her emotions or to celebrate well-deserved moments. So, when she gets a chance to make someone else happy, she takes it because things have not always been easy for her. Earlier in 2020, her husband finally admitted that he had relapsed back into his battle with substance abuse after 16 years of sobriety. A few years before his relapse, Shepard's late father had just been diagnosed with cancer, and in the same year, he was involved in a motorcycle accident, so his pain tolerance was very low. Knowing he would need medication, which could potentially trigger his addiction, the podcaster immediately called his sponsor to let him know of the tricky predicament he was in. "I'm in a ton of pain, and I gotta work all day, and we have friends that have Vicodin." Though his sponsor was understanding of the trouble Shepard was facing, he put Kristen in charge of giving her husband the correct dose, which had to be strictly procured by prescription. There was initially no problem with this arrangement until Shepard had the responsibility of giving his father pain medication. He secretly decided to also take some, comforting himself with the thought that he had also received a prescription for the same medication. However, the podcaster recalls taking, quote, "twice of what my other prescription was." Though he came clean to Bell, worried that he had possibly relapsed, her response set him at ease because he hadn't. But with no consequences that formed from the mistake he had made, later, when Shepard was injured again, he began to nurture an unhealthy habit. Bell was still in charge of administering his medication, but the father of two had found his way around it. "Maybe I don't want to take them at night because I can't sleep when I take them, so when I get my 2 at night, I don't actually eat them. And I keep them for tomorrow morning so I can make it the dose I want it to be." This secretly shady behavior began to escalate with each of Shepard's injuries until he finally realized that it had become a problem. After breaking his hand last year, the actor went as far as purchasing his own medication. The secrecy caused him to begin lying to those around him. He admitted the fallout to his wife and podcast partner, who was nothing short of supportive. Shepard says Bell's response saved his life.
And one of the main reasons I love him is that he's also addicted to growth. He's addicted to evolving. And he was like, I don't want to risk this family. And I did. So let's put, new things in place to make sure it doesn't happen again.
After sharing his faults on an Instagram post, Shepard inspired hundreds of other people to come forward and made them feel as though they were not alone. "Dax, you are such an inspiration to me," a user commented. "I made a big mistake recently and lost my job because of it. And I want to say that your resilience and willingness to always get up and try again is a big help to me right now." Although it was his wife's love and support that got him through this tough time, Kristen has shared that she and Dax go to therapy separately so they can share what they truly think of each other. At the start of lockdown, the actress admitted to being annoyed by Shepard, and he felt the same.
Beginning of the pandemic, we were at each other's throats, and then all the doors locked in our house, like we had to stay inside, and we were like, woof, we need to get a handle on the annoyances.
And when therapy wasn't working for them, their therapist suggested that they take separate sessions and use that time to complain about one another, which Bell says has since been great. The actress shared that this allows them to take out their frustrations without using the other person as a punching bag. And by the time they reunite again, they love each other again. Although Kristen was able to handle her husband's hiccup with grace, she failed to show herself the same kindness when her depression came crawling back. During the course of the pandemic, Bell admitted to having difficulty separating her own feelings from others, saying it was something that is, quote, dangerous thing to toy with. This challenging time for Bell made it unhealthy for her family to be around. At times, the Good Place star's crippling anxiety would make it hard for her to get out of bed. My version of it feels very restricted, the actress shared. Like if you're trying to put on like a latex glove that's way too small for your hand. Also, it sort of coincides with this feeling of not being excited about anything. The actress has not described her depression as critical to the point of taking her own life, but she highlights a few things that people with depression battle to overcome. Although they may not come across as life-threatening, they still affect Belle's quality of life, which extends to how she treats her family and those around her. Fortunately, the actress is married to an extremely supportive partner, and she credits him for helping her get to a better place by giving her tough love when she needed it.
You're gonna have a wonderful day today. You don't have to be nervous about anything.
Okay, I'm not.
You promise?
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, real quick, are you helping anyone right now by sitting and crying in your bed, or are you just being self-indulgent? Shepard asks as he tried to motivate her to do something more helpful in her life than giving power to all the things that were getting her down. Belle remembers being defensive about the advice, but she realized that her husband was right and the words finally settled. Motivated by Shepard's words of encouragement, Belle decided to give blood to UCLA Blood and Platelet Center, donated to No Kid Hungry, and focused on the good tools that help her center herself, like exercise and meditation. Her personal mantra that keeps her motivated is do the right thing, which translates to get your ass up and go walk around the block. Belle has tried a bulk amount of treatments over the years, hoping to find something that will help lessen the severe bouts of sadness that sometimes wash over her. But when nothing seemed to be working, she took a different approach, which didn't include pharmaceutical drugs. After being inspired by the book How to Change Your Mind, the actress decided to try psychedelic substances, understanding the danger she would be putting not only on her own life, but Shepard's too, after his relapse. Kristen Bell thrives when playing cute, funny, and upbeat characters like her character in Parks and Recreation, or the awkward but lovable housewife in Bad Moms. Not only is her appearance bubbly, but her voice has that quality too. Even if her daughter doesn't like Frozen, she voiced a pretty adorable Anna who is forever optimistic. However, Belle was not happy with the image she was portraying when the cameras were off.
Well, I'm extremely codependent. I shatter a little bit when I think people don't like me. That's part of why I lead with kindness and I compensate by being very bubbly.
The actress felt that she owed honesty and openness to all the young girls everywhere who looked up to her, and she needed to share her story with anxiety and depression, so those facing the same challenges knew that they were not alone. Although she tries hard to cultivate a fun and happy nature, it's also okay to not be so okay.
That I go home and sometimes don't want to get out of bed in the morning, and I have to keep a really strong exercise regimen, and I am on a medication, and all of these things are what make me me. I'm not ashamed of them.
And it was through her candor and vulnerability that she was able to gain more fans, or marshmallows as they like to be called, who were drawn to her down-to-earth and transparent nature. Belle has not looked back ever since. She lives her life openly for all to see, without filtering anything to make it tolerable. So when her children wanted to know how they were born, they did not get the story of the stork that delivered children in a basket. I think that anything that's taboo and hard to talk about should be some of the first priorities you should be talking about with the support systems in your life. Belle's mom was very open with her when she was growing up, and it's one of the traits that she came to treasure. The actress continues to cultivate healthy relationships in all the spheres in her life. And hopefully, she remembers to show herself the same unfiltered tough love on days when she needs that little push. Thank you for watching Rumour Juice, and that's all the news we have for you today. If you liked our video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to tell your friends how cool we are.